Every year, millions of people promise themselves they'll drink less. They call it a modern problem, a modern weakness. But what if the urge you're fighting isn't yours? What if it's not even human? 10 million years ago, before Homo sapiens, before fire, before the first stone tool, something in the forest canopy was already falling in love with alcohol. Not a person, a monkey. Biologist Robert Dudley calls it the Drunken Monkey Hypothesis, and it rewrites everything we think we know about addiction. Picture a fruit-eating primate, high in the trees of ancient Africa, millions of years before any human walked the earth. Ripe fruit falls to the forest floor. It sits, it rots, and as it rots, wild yeast breaks down its sugars into alcohol. That fermenting fruit gives off a smell, the unmistakable scent of ethanol drifting through the canopy. For a hungry primate, that smell wasn't a warning. It was a dinner bell. Fermented fruit meant one thing: a dense, ready source of calories, easier to find and easier to digest than fruit still hanging on the branch. So evolution did what it always does. It rewarded the primates who could smell that scent from farther away and who felt good when they found it. Generation after generation, natural selection wired a pleasure response directly to the smell and taste of alcohol. Not because getting drunk helped them survive, but because finding food did. The buzz was just a side effect, a biological accident that stuck around. That reward circuit didn't disappear when our ancestors came down from the trees. It didn't disappear when they started walking upright, or making tools, or building fire. It rode along, unchanged, for millions of years, sitting quietly in the primate brain. Then one day, it ended up in us, which means the same neural pathway that lights up when a modern human takes a drink first evolved to help a primate find rotting fruit in a forest that no longer exists. You didn't inherit a bad habit. You inherited a survival tool that outlived its job. Now look at the earliest solid evidence we actually have of humans drinking on purpose. At a site called Chaotu in southern China, archaeologists found pottery buried alongside human remains, dated to roughly 9,000 years ago. Residue testing revealed the vessels once held a kind of beer, brewed from rice and other plants. But here's the detail almost nobody mentions. This wasn't a party, it was a funeral. The beer was part of a burial ritual, used to send the dead into whatever came next. Somehow, within a few thousand years, that same fermented drink helped fuel the rise of complex farming societies. The ancient reward circuit built for finding fruit in a forest may have helped build civilization itself. And alcohol wasn't the only substance early humans reached for. In the Andes Mountains of South America, people were using a hallucinogenic cactus called San Pedro over 10,600 years ago. In Texas and northern Mexico, hallucinogenic mescal beans were in use 11,000 years ago. In Asia, people were chewing mildly stimulating betel leaves as far back as 13,000 BC. A habit so old it may predate farming itself, and one that roughly 600 million people still practice today. Here's the part that should unsettle you. Some researchers believe Neanderthals, a completely different species from us, may have used stimulant plants 60,000 years ago. If that's true, the drive to alter your own mind isn't just older than civilization, it might be older than our species. So why don't we hear this version of the story? Partly because the evidence is fragile. Stone tools and pottery survive for thousands of years. Plants and chemical residues do not, which means everything we've found so far might only be a fraction of what actually happened. For all we know, some hominid species discovered a mind-altering plant hundreds of thousands of years before the oldest site we've ever dug up. And we may never find the proof. So the honest answer to when did addiction start might not be a date at all. It might be before there were humans to ask the question. The next time you turn down a second drink and call it willpower, remember what you're actually fighting. Not a bad habit you picked up. A 10-million-year-old signal inherited from a monkey in a tree that once meant the difference between starving and eating. Your ancestors didn't choose this. It was built into them before they were even human. And somehow, it's still running in you today.